Vaishali, Veena, Chimmu, and Raina. Raina's our old friend who's been around, but the other three are brand new. So girls don't have to be nervous or do anything. There, she's spotlighted pretty girls. And so we're going to do this. This is how we're going to start. We're going to start with C. That's Chimmu. Chimmu, hi. If you can take a minute or two to introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, where you stay, what's the work you do, and the title of your book. That's it for now.
Thank you so much, Anita. It's my pleasure and an honor to be here with all these wonderful SheMantrans. I now feel truly part of the family. So my name is Chimmu Kutty. I am born and brought up in Bangalore. I worked for more than 20 years in a bank. Then I quit, and I started as a trainer. Then I went on to become a coach, and then I got my niche, which is confidence multiplying. And on the basis of that, I realized in the course of my coaching that I was making a difference. The confidence challenges which I faced and which subsequently made me to overcome them. When I spoke to my coaches, I realized they were going through the same challenges. So I'm not a rebel. I'm just your average, bloom where you're planted, stay in the box kind of a girl. And I was happy in the box. Okay. I didn't know there was anything other than the box. And when it's only when I decided to take a decision out of the box to quit the bank that I realized there's a whole other side to being who you are, knowing what you want. And that's what started this journey for me. And that's what got me into being a coach also. And this book, The Little Big Book of Confidence, is the result of a keynote I gave to help employees overcome their confidence challenges which they face, which I faced and overcame. So that is the story of my book.
Thank you very much. So we go next to, now I've got to remember my alphabets. R. Raina.
Hi, Anita, and hi, friends. Good to see each one of you here.
So you want to introduce your
introduce?
bit and just about your quick introduction about the name of your book and your a little bit about your background.
Hi, friends. For all of you, this is Dr. RainaKhatri Tandon, founder CEO of Right to Rise, which specializes into women and child rights. Today, I come to speak in front of you. We all have rights, and voice out the action to your rights. It's all about ignition of your dreams. And we are hoping to unveil those dreams slowly, one bit at a time. I am placed at Mumbai, and for all of you, a surprise when we connect. Till then, all over to Anita. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Vaishali.
Hi everyone, I am Vaishali Jog. I am based in Pune. By qualification, I'm a chartered accountant, but I took a leap of faith when I got into a health practice, which resulted in awesome increase in my energy levels, and I lost like more than 15 kgs of post-pregnancy weight. And the reason I took the leap of faith was for the simple reason that I realized that health is one aspect where most of us struggle. And if I can add value to people in that particular space, there's nothing better than that, because adding value gives a sense of accomplishment to me. So right now, I'm a belly fat specialist and a best-selling author. Yeah, thank you.
Veena.
Hi, everyone. It's great to see you all here. I'm Veena Dhandia. Thank you very much for having me here. I am right now, I'm an ICF-PCC certified life relations happiness coach, corporate trainer, speaker, mentor. And yeah, so that's about it. But at the same time, I started my journey. I was born and brought up in Hong Kong. I got married in Mumbai. I'm here. And I was into performing arts as a background. And through performing arts, I just felt I needed to do something for society and started a organization called Move Ahead to empower women in society with customized programs. And then I got into life coaching, and I felt that instead of just helping friends and relatives, how can I help strangers if I'm not certified, if I'm not qualified? So there went all my studying into it, taking exams, etc. And COVID was a blessing for me, because that's when I actually thought of writing my books. So my books are Life, Camera, Action. and go caterpillar go. So here I am and aspiring to inspire many more people around me and at the same time grow myself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. So now I'm going to ask you a question, and y'all can take quick turns to answer. I'm not going to pick anyone. You'll just can quickly go through whoever wants to speak first. It's free for all. So I want to ask you a question. I can start with Veena because I see her first, and then y'all can take over from there. Veena, how long did it take you to write the book?
To be very frank, my first book, 3 weeks. My
Wow.
second book, 1 month. Yes, people thought I was crazy. I was surprised of myself as well. So for the second book, I took 2 more months to try and add, to finish off, polish whatever needed. But I just felt there's no end to it. Every time you sit with the book, you're rewriting, you're rehashing. And I was just satisfied with what I wrote in the simple language that I did. And I say, just let it go. Let's see what happens. And so that's how it took. But I'd like to also share for all the budding writers, one tip that really helped me. So when you think of writing a book, and if you can give it 70% of your focus, so everything else goes on in life, but 70% of that month is what I gave and put everything else on 30%, which is why I was able to manage consistency and the free flowing from my heart and mind. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Okay, so I would like to say that my timeline is much higher. It was like around 2.5 years I took to write a book. The first thing was that I did not actually believe that I could be an author. And that belief was actually broken when I attended a seminar where Dave Gadvi said that writing a book is only opening your heart to the world. And then there was no turning it back. But again, people laughed at me when I told them I am writing a book, because for the simple reason that by qualification I'm a CA, but I am writing on health. But then so it went on for a year. Then for some reason it was forgotten. I got involved. Then when I got myself a mentor, it just took me 3 months to finish the book, because my mentor gave me a very wonderful tip. He said, Vaishali, give yourself a deadline. Tell yourself that you are going to get the book published by 31st August. And that did wonders. So yeah, so that's.
Thank you.
I'll go with Vaishali there. One thing that worked just like her was I was getting into this judgmental mode that, being a woman and child rights person, having so much knowledge, how do I pen down all this in this one book? But believe me, it will be very shocking for you. I think what really worked, this one line that somebody told me, just start writing. Don't go into the bits. Don't go into the criticalities. How are you going to publish? How are you going to write? How are you going to read? No matter what, when you open a tap, unless you don't open the tap, the water doesn't flow. So unless you don't start writing, you're never going to publish or become an author. So just start. When I started, I think there are things that we did which cleared through the knowledge bit. And of course, there was SheWrites, there was SheRisers, there was accountability partners and whatnot that took us through the way. But yes, it was not as long as, I think 4 months is what I would say, including publishing and printing my book. And it shocked me because 6 months of research of doing women and child rights, I ended up writing a human rights book first. And the second book will be on posh and rights. So looking forward till then to hear the other authors say what their experiences were. Over to you, Chimmu.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for me, it was a very unique kind of situation where I started writing. I was writing 2 books at the same time. So I had this keynote ready and I wanted to write. Yes, I wanted to convert it
We've
into
heard
a
of
book.
people reading 2 or 3 books at the time, but writing 2 books is a new concept. Tell us more.
I don't know how it happened. Okay. So I started writing this keynote and converting into a book. Meanwhile, I was working with a mentor. He said you have to quickly release a book on 25 questions in your topic so that people know what you're talking about. So this first book, no, A Shot in the Arm, I started that also at the same time. And I finished that. I published that in August. And in another couple of months, I published my second book. So it just happened. So probably I'm working on my third book now. It's not going forward. I should probably start 2 at the same time. is what I'm thinking now. So the whole thing took just a few months. Actually, once you conceptualize the book and you know what you want to write, the only thing holding you back is the actual writing itself, which I will get to when Anita asks about that.
That's wonderful. Have we lost Vaishali, or is she?
No, she's not in spotlight. That's it.
Because I can't see in the full screen.
Yeah,
That's
she's
all.
not here.
Spotlight. She needs to be spotlight.
So good. So we have different approaches to writing the book, some internal belief systems. Who am I to write this book? Starting with that. The second one says, I'm 70% of my time, okay, I'm just going to block it and I'm going to release the book. And we have Chimmu, who is writing 2 books at the same time, while she is working, taking care of her family, and all of that at the same time. So what I want to know, what gave you the power to continue writing?
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. So I'm as lazy as they come. Okay, I'm procrastinating a lot. I don't like to write. When I started writing, I have my keynote ready. All I have to do is fill it out with all the case studies. And I'm typing and I'm feeling so bored. I can't type. I just want to come to the conclusion and finish it. I don't want to flesh it out. So I'm as lazy as anyone else. So I had to actually break it down into small chunks and say, okay, I will just do this case study today, then I'm done for the day. And that's how I sort of motivated myself to do a little every day and complete my book. And actually, when you finish it, you feel great, like, oh wow, I did it. But in the process, right, you overcome your own negative feelings, your own like, why am I writing this? Is it worth it? And all the excuses that you can think of come up in your mind. But you need to see, why are you writing? What is it that is actually motivating you to come out the other side? Like when you get up in the morning at 5 o'clock, you just can't get up. But once you're able to do that, getting up, you feel great. So it was like pulling a nail out. But then I realized that, okay, I may not be able to do the whole thing, but I can do small chunks. And that's what I kept me going. This.
Chimu, adding to that, the point that you so nicely made about, commitment or motivation. Now, we can't be motivated every day, all our life, right? There are going to be times where we're not motivated. So what helped me was, if I say 70% of my time, of course, every morning I get up and it's not necessary that I'm going to feel like writing, right? So what I set in is, the day I'm not motivated, then self-discipline sets in. Self-regulation sets in. 1 or 2 days lapse, okay, be kind to ourselves, it's all right. But the third day, you have to get back to it, if not with motivation, then with self-discipline. And you just have to hammer yourself, keep saying it to yourself. You got to do this, you got to do this. Your flow will go. And then you get that power, that inner strength. Then when you're sitting, and especially when you're sitting at the same table, if you're sitting at the same table where you write every day and you sit, focus for 2 minutes, most of the time, if not all, you will be able to start writing again. It's what I feel.
Thank you.
For me, yeah, go ahead, Vaishali. I think you're on mute, Vaishali.
You're on mute.
Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, so what kept me going every day is the subject that you select. Okay, now in my case, I know very well that I have a goal to reach 5 million. I want to impact 5 million in this health space, right? So that passion comes across. And when you know that, okay, the subject you have to, if you're writing a book, you have to be passionate about it and it has to have an audience. In my case, health and weight loss is something that most of us want, right? So that is one thing that I would, one tip, okay, if you really want to write a book, think of a subject that you're passionate about and also ensure that it has an audience. That will give you the drive to write it every day. Like I have this thing in my mind that I have a mission to reach 5 million. A book is the best way to reach people because coaching will take you to few. A book will reach million and a book will never be thrown anywhere. That is in most of the countries. So yeah, so that's one tip for the budding writers. Take a passionate subject and kind of have audience for that.
I'll take this line as what Chimmu, Vaishali, and Veena said. I had only one thing in my mind. Rena, you have to get your voice to the people who believe that you do good work.
Yeah.
Okay. Your voice doesn't have to be always spoken. It can sometimes be listened, it can sometimes be read, and it can sometimes hit the right soul by just the right words. I'm sure Deep, Himanshi, Rashmi, Shilpa, all of us are doing different kind of work and we resonate at different levels. And sometimes we call it meditation, sometimes we call it journaling, sometimes we say writing. I was not a writer. Let me tell you, I first came to that. Then I said, you speak about women rights, you speak about human rights. Where is the courage? Courage is a verb, not a word. VERB. Courage is action. Rena, agar aap action nahi le paoge, to forget it. Don't talk about touching 5 million, 10 million, 20 million. And I totally resonate with Vaishali on this. I had a bigger number, Vaishali, 1 crore people. I want to stand on an international TED having 10 lakh people viewing me. And if I don't have that word COURAG, then everything that we have, like writer's block, I don't have the mood today. I used to get up at 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m. with SheRises just to write. And I say, I don't have the mood today. You don't know what you want to write. You don't know where you want to write. And the only thing I said, start writing. And then after writing for 40 days, I started structuring it. I never got ideas. I went to plants and I started talking at plants. I was looking at the plants, literally looking at the rain, literally, and saying, hey, give me some advice. Give me some inspiration. Okay. And most of the time we observe outside the window, but our mind works. And that's which motivates us inside out, not outside in.
Yeah.
I think that worked with me and much more to hear. But over to Anika.
It's also about belief, I think. It's also about belief. If you have that kind of belief, that is what is going to help you think. So the thoughts will come accordingly. And if those thoughts are in place, then accordingly your feelings, your emotions will, those vibrations, those energy vibrations will start running inside of you. And once you have those feelings, then the action, like Raina said so nicely, the action will come until you get up, write, pick up that pen and write, the action will come. Once the action and behavior is there, is when the outcome comes. So it's just like a line, right from belief to thoughts to feelings to actions and then the outcome. It's just something that you just affirm to yourself again and again, and the power is not going to go away anywhere.
Yeah, that's a great principle that, thought, feeling, action. Your thoughts become your feelings, or your thoughts become your character, and you develop it into a feeling, and that feeling then creates an emotion. And with that emotion, you can create something which then connects you to your higher purpose, which all of y'all are sharing, and the purpose is not just reaching the 10 million, but why do you want to make that impact? What is your personal impact? It's not the number, but your personal impact. Am I going to take that knowledge with me? Or am I ready to share that knowledge and have that CORAGE to do that? Despite, I love what Mel Robbins said. She said, don't turn around and say, I don't have the mood to exercise. Exercise and you will get the mood. Right? And you will get the mood. Do the work and you will get the mood, not the other way around. So when Raina was talking, it reminded me of her. And I share this, and I do this for myself too, is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time out, get out of bed. When we're feeling lazy or not wanting to do it. Her simple exercises have been a great influence, not just me, but my clients too, to be able to pivot. And pivoting is the key piece, is what you're all talking about in this process. Now, talking of pivots, I have, in a very short way, if you can share your pivots that got you to writing the book. Who wants to go first?
Okay. All right,
Okay.
Chimmu, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. Okay, so I'm not a rebel. Okay, I'm a very adjustable, person. Like I said, I was in the box, and I never knew I could have things outside the box. Till I wanted to make a decision which was radical in terms in my family to leave the bank. So it started then. That was my first pivot, I would say. The next came when I became a coach and I realized that the stuff that I had gone through is actually very much prevalent in in the executives I was coaching. Just small things. It's just a mindset shift that you can make your own decisions for yourself and you need not always follow what is told to you. So that was the next pivot that, okay, my coaching was making an impact. And the third one, which led me to write the book, was when I created that keynote, I realized that I can use my voice and my experience to impact a greater number of people. Because you don't have to be rebellious or loud or extroverted to change the way you think or change your life. You can do it as you are, from where you are. So that was my actually inspiration and the pivot which got me to writing the book, to spread the word to more people like me who are like happily in the box.
Nice. Thank you.
So taking it from in the box to out of the box. I will say my tagline there will be filling the gaps. When we work with people who undergo a lot of pain and unable to express, it's difficult to even voice out. With human rights, we all have it in our hand, but the choice is in whether we can make it or break it. Right? So it was about the freedom. I hear my boy coming up every day and say, Mama, give me freedom. I want freedom. And I wonder, what is that freedom supposed to be? Because you have everything in life. And he said, you talk about rights. Do you know we have right of expression? We have right of freedom. We have right of equality. We have right of clean air. And I said, oh, wow. So do we actually do that? Do we actually do that with the people? We don't judge them. We work with them. We have everybody who's here who works with clients, everybody who wants to fill the gaps. And that's where they want to raise the bars of their people around. Stop discriminating, working with equality. So in everything that we do, we need to fill in the gaps. And to fill in the gaps, I had a lot of challenges because I had to first fight and understand with myself, where am I going to ignite this change? So to fill the gap, my pivot came in that every person who came in front of me, I was equating to fill the gap. The gap that was something required as an essence to drop into the person to shine. So my pivot is every person who came up to me, Paul Coelho said, ignite the change because you want to see it happen, not because you expect the world to change. And that also helped me to understand I'm not here to change the world.
Okay. Thank you for that. So
Yes.
what you're saying is what pivoted you was talking about freedom or pushing the envelopes of freedom? What was it?
Pushing the whys of everybody's purpose in life, which was including freedom from discrimination, maybe rising up in their areas of judgmental spaces, looking at people in a very different views, like biased views,
Okay.
looking at equality in a different way, which probably many of us don't understand in our clients, and many other reasons. I think when we talk of relationships, we still have them. When we talk of confidence, we still have them. When we have health, we still have them. So it was all about freedom first for yourself and igniting that passion within.
Thank you.
So for me, it was basically the realization after, like I shared earlier, that yes, I can write it because I always knew that I wanted, but there was a belief that I cannot write a book, which was broken. And then that was one thing. The second thing is I knew very well that if I write it, I would be becoming better and better at the practice and in the process impacting the people. And the last one is I have this dream. Like I personally believe that if if most of the people are healthy, then our world would be a much better place. Via crimes or via any negativity out there, because we are not healthy at some place, right? So I believe that if I am able to spread and make the impact, the world will be a much healthier place. So that is what my sharing is.
So my pivot is something very different. My motto in life is live life to the fullest. But I'd like to share that I wasn't always of this thought. I had a contradictory past where I had everything, and I should have been grateful. I feel blessed at times, but at times I was with that feeling that I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I can't get anything right. I was made to look down upon in many ways. So a lot of emotional turmoil. So that was my first pivot. So that first pivot then came into something else, that with my dad being away, being the dynamic personality that he is someone I look at his photograph and I think if he was there, what would he have done? Or if he was there, what would he have wanted me to do? He was always a very dynamic personality. And this ignited that little spark. So, of course, just seeing a photograph doesn't do everything, but it ignited the spark when I felt, what am I doing to myself? Like, I have it all, and yet I'm unhappy. I find everything to be unhappy about. So, and that just shifted me. That inner shift came in when I said, okay, you got to get up on your own 2 feet. And what is your motto going to be? It's going to be live your life to the fullest. So how are we going to do that? So with the help, support of spirituality, meditation, affirmations, I became a life coach and I ran these 2 organizations. And COVID, again, being on the hotline, many hotlines during COVID, is then the third pivot when I realized, why don't I write a book? Okay, I'm not an author per se, but if I share my thoughts, my message, or whatever I have gone through experiences or case studies with my clients, writing a book is the way you can reach the maximum number of people. Whether you do one-on-one coaching, group coaching, or you speak at sessions, whatever it is, but the kind of reach a book has, it will not have. And nothing else will have, basically. So my third pivot, when I actually decided to try my hand at writing a book, was COVID. COVID was a blessing in disguise for me, where and the hotline that I was on, that made me feel, no, I need to give more than what I'm doing right now in life. And that internally, this whole journey internally gave me the happiness that I really feel I am in now. And I'm in that state of happiness as a being. So those are my 3 pivots. They really worked for me.
So you can see that for everyone, their life speaks for them. As a summary, if you look at, she had, I'm not good enough, then decided to be good enough, and then decided to share she's good enough. And everyone can be good enough. Then we have Chimmu, who was in the box.
From I'm not enough to I am more than enough.
More than enough. Exactly. Bravo. And Chimmu says, I'm in the box. I'm in the box. I'm a banker. I'm boring. I'm in the box. So she had a lot of B's going for her, to the point where she had the C come in, which is the big confidence, the B and the C, which is the big confidence. And then we had Vaishali, who was a boring accountant, as she confesses herself to be, to be a coach and take on health and energize the world. You see, the idea is where our life speaks for us. Our life, for them, everybody, whether it's the son for Raina or what she does a lot of post training, and she sees a lot of, Raina sees a lot of rights being violated. So I'm not surprised that she picked up this to write about the human laws and the laws that govern us and govern us to make better human beings. And Vaishali's consciousness, which got her to realize that health is not just the body, but it is at multiple levels. So the pivot, it's led where your life speaks for you. So I want you to take a pause here, everybody, and check with you where your life, how your life is speaking to you, or where your life is speaking to you, which is inspiring you to pivot into something, into writing or sharing an idea. It can be, it doesn't have to be a book. It can be any other form that you feel like. It can be a podcast, can be a talk, it can be anything that you want to think about. So just take a pause for now and let's see what life shows you. Good question, Deep. What in your life is pivoting you to give birth to something meaningful? Let's pause and reflect. Did you write that?
Just summarize what you asked, Anita.
That's
Nothing
beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay. Eh? Would if anybody would like to share, it's okay. If not, we can continue. But it'd be nice if we can have one share or one or two shares.
Yeah, so once I started writing, right, I can't seem to stop now. Okay, I mean, it's all there in my head, it just has to come out. So that was the challenge, and I'm working on it. So I am writing my third book. I already have one fiction book which I've been writing in my head for years. I think it's time for it to come out. So I sort of challenged myself that I would write a book a year because it doesn't have to be a big. Okay, so this was the first misconception which stopped me from writing a book. That a book has to be so 100, 200, 300 pages and should be so big, so thick. But actually, that is not at all required. My books are just 100, 140 pages. And a book is a book. It doesn't have to be a thick volume. The smaller it is, the faster it gets read. So that was one misconception which I had to overcome. And so I'm on my third book, see, just like that. And so that's what I plan to do. And I also want to make some YouTube videos on my books, answer the questions. So there are a lot of things that I want to do. The only thing stopping me is my own procrastination. So yeah, I'm working on that.
Okay. From the folks who are attending, did you get anything, any inspiration about how your life speaks to you? If you want to share, it's fine. If not, we'll let you stay with it. All right. Sounds good.
Poetry has flown for me, Anita.
Pardon?
Some rhythmic rhyming words have flown for me from the reflection.
Okay.
And yeah, it has kind of given birth to why do I wish to collaborate and work with SheMantrans, because I see SheMantrans as trustees of quality, vitality, creativity, integrity, clarity, and a meaningful community. So this is inspiring me to further collaborate in meaningful ways with SheMantrans, and something big is coming our way in this birthday month. Looking forward to that. That's what I wish to give birth with, not alone, of course, with SheMantrans. So just having these thoughts.
Thank you. I think we all are in that hot space in month of July. And we are going to party hard too. Don't worry about it. So anybody whose life has spoken for them, I know Himanshi, you have started your book, your newsletter, your book. What did you call it, Himanshi?
Woman.
Himanshi?
Okay, you're talking to me?
Yes, dear.
I thought there was some
There's no
one
other
more
Himanshi.
Okay. Okay. So, Anita, I uh, in my head there are like 2, 3 books that I want to write, and with a deep desire to be able to impact people's lives. One book that I want to write about is Dream. Now, I'm not talking about dreams as we see dreams at night. I want to talk about how you can make your dreams come true. Something like that.
Yeah.
And this is something that everybody would like to know, I think. Who doesn't dream? You know, I think everybody dreams and everybody has some desires, and so that's keeping a large audience in mind. And it's just that why I'm hooked to these your webinars and your group. The main objective behind is that I can motivate myself. Uh, so there is still a gap between my head to the keypad, which I need to cover, and so that's the thing. So I have to. So I still need to get pivoting. Honestly speaking. So much of work comes in between, so much of deadlines, and I'm so I still need to motivate myself to work, create a schedule and start working.
You recently launched your what did you call it? Your newsletter? Not this wasn't a newsletter.
No, you're talking about Howdy, is it?
Yes. No
Or
bad, right?
okay.
Yeah.
The WooMag, yeah, that's a magazine. That's a magazine.
Magazine. She recently launched a magazine. And so you want to share along with the panelists, what is it that pivoted you to launch a magazine?
Okay. So I just want to share that I actually relaunched it. It was already existing since 2014. And this is a magazine, which is the woomag.com. It is for basically women lifestyle magazine, which I relaunched to cater to women professionals, leaders, and business owners, basically targeting women who want to um, grow and be self-independent and do better in their lives as business owners, professionals, and so that's the thing. So idea is because the reason behind the vision behind is that I want to help women become self-independent, because the basic reason behind it, that women, they go through so many, their life cycles. They go through so much more than a man does. Especially, they have to the best of the education and qualifications. They quit the jobs and they stay back. Many of them make choices and to stay back with their kids. And 40% of women drop out of their jobs when they are about to get the promotions, with their mid 30s, and which happened to me as well. And then I was doing very well, and then I had to quit my job in between. Right, then I was really expecting to be even promoted to much higher levels. And so helping women think about reinventing themselves and encouraging them to maybe rejoin their jobs or reinvent themselves. And many of the coaches community would agree, because many of you have actually chosen a path of a coach, because it's somehow it satisfies your desire to do something very meaningful. At the same time, you are taking care of the families. I mean, this is a hypothesis that I'm. And so basically, I want to help women become self-made. So how do we do that? That by giving them the right information, guidance, right? Mentoring them, giving them the right resources. So it's a kind of, you can say, lot of coaching and a lot of training goes through uh, to the power of words, actually. So this is what we want to do. Yes.
Thank you, Himanshi. So as you can see, you all have written a book and you're writing these 2 books. Himanshi is writing on an ongoing basis, 24/7. She's part of the core team. That's why I know a little bit more about her. So she's writing on an ongoing basis. And there's another person I know who pivoted, in one who's in the group. Farah, can you come online? I know I'm going to put you. None of these girls knew I was going to put them on the spot. I didn't even know they were joining. So here we are. Farah, tell us about you launched one on courage, right? And I see it on LinkedIn. And I know you said, I finally took the leap and I've launched it. I remember that reading your first post. You want to tell what pivoted you to finally make that leap to be courageous, and you call it courageous, yeah?
I'm listening to some of the stuff that others are talking about. It doesn't need to be like the way we assume a book should be. So the first thing was, I think, the first level of courage was to write an ebook. Okay. So that came from thinking about, as you said, looking at your life, what is it allowing you to create, and what led me to write that first one, which really I felt like was like my first book. So I didn't treat it like an ebook. Okay. And so for me, that was really what really helped me to step into a life of courage. So I was sharing 5 of my my secrets, which I still live. But I think what happened after that was knowing that there's a possibility of creating more of this. And so I was part of a collaboration book. And in that, while it was a small thing, it was writing 1 chapter, but that chapter defined a big part of who I am. So even that felt like, making a step forward. And every time I think one person who has encouraged me, and I think I'm going to encourage her as well, and she's smiling, Shilpa. We both want to do this, and we don't know why what's stopping us. And so listening to all of you, I think I'm pretty inspired now, not to let it stay in my head, but you need to make time. It's like a project. It's about really making the commitment. And when you make the commitment, I think nothing can come in the way. So I believe it starts with commitment, not even courage. It requires commitment first. So
So
that's
you launched your newsletter, which I think, perhaps you can share a little bit about it before we sign off, and then I'll go back to the panel again.
Yeah, just quickly wanted to say that, hold on, I'm just going to cancel. I don't know if you can see, but I was getting a call. So, so the thing about me is I'm always trying to disrupt the way I work and the way I think. And I always like to push myself into trying new things without knowing what to expect. So I'm like a big risk taker, and I'm always looking into the future and doing that. So I got very inspired with something that I'm creating in my life this year, which is really about how I'm going to build a coaching business, which is very different. And so I've gone back to a coaching school, and that has helped me to look at many things differently, how I operate. So one of the things I decided was, let me share on my journey what are some things I'm learning, and one way is through a newsletter. And so that's how the newsletter was born. And yeah, that's also a commitment. Yeah, so I'm enjoying that sharing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So as you can see, that whether you're writing a newsletter or you're active on LinkedIn, or whether you're writing a book or you're having a magazine, I think whether it's motivation first or commitment first, either way, it's your thought, feeling, and action, as Veena said. What's my thought? But before the thought is the purpose. The why, the big why. It is, what is my life speaking for me? And what is my life telling me that I have to share with the world? Because that's what we were created for. That's our purpose. We learned, we had problems, we learned something, and we pivot to write something which is going to help the world. This is the 3-step process. Like Veena also shared the 3-step process. I was not enough. Then she did whatever she did to change herself, and then wrote about it. So 3 pivots. So it doesn't have to be a long book. It can be a short book. It can be a story. Like Farah said, a chapter in a book in collaboration. Wow, what a lovely way to think that I only have to write a chapter. So we can break down our writing in multiple ways, as long as we are telling the story. And like she said, it is going to build into one to the other, to the earth's soul. So it's a slow start, and then moving to the next level. We don't have to eat the whole frog.
Eat the big frog.
Yeah, eat the small frog, eat another one. And, and for the vegetarians, don't kill me, okay? I have no metaphor for a bhaji and frog, nothing, kuch nahi hai mere paas. All right, so back to our panelists now. And let's see what else they have to share with us.
So Anita, can I share one point here?
Huh?
Yeah. So one thing that I have realized when I speak to a lot of people, they think there's nothing in their life to share. But I tell each one of them that you don't know when you will inspire someone. So just go and share. That is something that each one of us has to realize. Yeah.
Maybe we can ask people, what is it that I do so well? What is it that I do effortlessly that gets you connected with me?
Yes.
That's simple.
I would like to share one point. We all are writing, right? I see that SheMantra is such an active group on LinkedIn, and we put out so many important posts. I know 2 people who have collected their posts of 1 year and made a book out of it.
Wow.
That's a simple way to make a book.
Amazing. Absolutely. Yes, Farah? You raised your hand.
Yeah, just like Vaishali said, I wanted to offer something here. Because while we're thinking of writing a book, I think it starts with just writing first, right? So one of the things that really helped me is to create a signature talk, which is really based on something which is unique about you. And there's a process of doing that. And I want to say that that's something I'll be happy to offer, if anybody's interested, because once you create that, there's nothing, it's inevitable that you can create from there, because it's really anchoring you to everything from there. So, and that is the story you're going to share about yourself. And from there comes all the other things, from wellness to leadership to etc. So that's something I wanted to add here.
Thank you
Okay.
for the
One little point, could I add a little point to Farah? When you talked about commitment, everyone feels that commitment to themselves, that they need to, keep on going, keep on going. There are two things I feel that really help all of us. Especially it helped me, and I've seen it help other people also. One is accountability. So even though you're committed, if you're accountable, it could be your wife, it could be your, it could be your family, it could be maybe your boss. So that accountability partner being there. And secondly, announce it to the world. You announce it to the world, and you're kind of like stuck in your own little boundary because you are like, okay, I told
performance.
everyone already, I'm going to lose 5 kilos. Like, I better do it, otherwise, kya hua? Have you lost yet? 2 kilos, you're not lost yet. Oh, you haven't written that book yet. Only 2 chapters. So it's not that we're going to take the negative side of this. We're going to take the positive side of it and give us extra motivation.
So I
Indeed.
have this answer which I was waiting for Himanshi's questions, because she spoke about women. Himanshi, one thing worked with me, because I work with women and child rights, which might work with you, is I use this principle which I heard about a very profound person who said 25-5 principle. First thing, write 25 questions what you want your book to answer, and answer at least the first 5 of them. You'll start answering all 25 one at a time. And if you have 25 books to write, first write all the 25 books and pick the first 5 that you want to write and start writing them together. And it works. It works. It will also help you structure out your book. It will also help you get all the self-help that you want to give the woman. And if you want research, then there are resources like Science Hub, Google Books, HPR, Scoopers, JSTOR, ERIC, NCIB, National Health Institute, DDAJ. If you just put resources for books in your area, believe me, there are free resources everywhere. It's just what you need to align with what you want to give them. Okay, and there's a number of research papers. Okay, it's just that you want to put a good book together, then reading, nurturing the plants, and being in the right mood, which has to be developed. Like Anita said, the mood comes first and the work comes later. It does work. Okay, so I hope you will be charged up and coming out with more books and magazines of WooMag. Looking forward.
That is so much of, I mean, this is so profound and so much of information in 2 minutes. It was difficult for me to download so much of information. I think you are recording this. I'm going to listen to this again and again. So
I will record it
to
and
take
send it to you
notes.
personally.
You guys
Yes,
can
thank
connect
you.
offline. Perfect.
Yes,
So
yes.
see, this is the community. This is how the collaborations begin. So Raina, thank you for sharing. Okay, let's come back to your beautiful journey, which I'm sure more people want to hear about. What I want to ask you, we've got 30 more minutes to go, and we finish early, it's fine. If you can give in about 3 key messages that you have written in your book, 3 to 5 max, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that folks can walk away with understanding what exactly were you trying to share. Because if we can give 5 messages for a 100-page or a 200-page book, then we know we got it. And that's again a discipline of writing that these are the key messages that we want to write, like we talked earlier, and then flesh them out over a period of time. So let's hear your 3 or 4 key messages that you're shared in your book.
Right. I'll make this really short because I'm a woman of least words. Human dignity and respect is everything that we always ask for as a woman, at least. I can obviously vouch for the men as well, but all that gets hurt. They say they are strong, but women are stronger because if you just tell one sentence, their ego is hurt. So we are not weak, for sure. So dignity, respect was the first thing that I wanted to bring out in all the aspects of this situations that have been shared in alignment to the human rights. Second was fairness, ethics, and values. Every business today stands for ethics and values. If we are not able to align that with whatever work we do, then we are just doing superficial work. So that is completely rooted in whatever I have spoken. And thirdly, when we talk about accountability, participation, giving it back to society, we have to be non-discriminatory and non-judgmental. And let me be very honest there. There were always words like creativity, calm, concise, control, endurance. And I see all these words in Shilpa. So when I started writing the book, there were some faces that came in front of me. And I always kept these faces in front of me because they also inspired me to write the right words in the book. Okay. We've seen the line, women don't support women. And that's completely a myth. Right?
So what were the three key messages in your book?
Human dignity and respect that we own, we know how to voice it. Okay. Fairness, ethics, and integrity that we vouch, we live by it.
Okay.
Accountability and non-discrimination, we live by it. So these were the three takeaways.
Thank you. Veena?
So my first message is every single person, every single soul has all the innate potential qualities within themselves. All right. So that is why in my book, the caterpillar is beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Because it has that essence to transform itself into a beautiful butterfly. So indirectly, what I'm saying is that everyone can empower themselves to enrich their life further and evolve from being an extraordinary person to an extraordinary person and live the best version of their lives and become the best version of yourself. Everything is figure outable. Everything can elevate your levels of happiness. So that's the main thing. And so these are the 3 E's: empower, enrich, and evolve.
Okay, thank you. Whoever, Vaishali?
Yeah, I'll say. So the first key message is make your health your priority today at this moment. Don't wait to learn the hard way. That is the first message. The second message is nature has designed our body in the most beautiful manner and it has got all the solutions. We don't have to look outside. We have to look within, inside our body for the solutions. And the third and the last message is if you take care of your health, you will have abundance in every aspect of your life. Yeah. 3 messages.
Okay. So my book, it's about building confidence. So the first thing is confidence is nothing that you can do outside of yourself. It is an internal journey. So the first one is know yourself. Know who you are. Know what are your values. Know what you stand for. And the second one is find out how people, what are the words people use for you. So there is a test that I have devised. I will share this templates or you can find it in my book at the end. How people look at you. Okay. So those words, many times, right, we forget who we are. We forget our power. And when we ask our friends, our circle, we find out the labels that they put on us. We can change our labels. We can create our own labels. And the third and the last one is it is a daily work, building yourself from the inside. If you have a deep foundation of knowing who you are and what you stand for, whatever comes from outside, right, you can manage it. So confidence affects you when there is change, when you feel overwhelmed, and when you feel that you're going to have a loss of faith in any situation, you feel low confidence. You can overcome this just by using these things, knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what are your values.
Okay, sounds good. So, when you started writing the book, did you have the clarity on these 3 messages?
Yes.
Okay. You did?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was confused. I was all over.
That's
I think
okay.
it was like, where do I start? What do I write? Of course, I want to write about women. Of course, it was rights. but I started scribbling, and what I did wrong was I started writing, reading, researching, editing, doing everything like a superwoman. And when I started 8 years back as a trainer, coach, mentor, before I started my company, it was funny that my first workshop name was Superwoman. So the first thing I did is break that myth. I'm no
Okay.
superwoman. Let's first understand who we are, calm down, be concise, be crisp, be clear. And these are wonderful C's that we hear, but we never follow. So I said, I'm going to follow this, and I put one big sheet in front of me. Crisp, clear, concise, clarity. If you don't have this, don't write the book. So I completely had a self-talk, which told it that you have to make it simpler for the audience. If you don't talk simple, people will not connect. Simplicity is the key.
Good.
So
So,
that's
For
what
me,
I want to share.
for me, the clarity in thought, the idea was there, but I used a snowflake method. So this is a method where you do mind mapping. So I put that in the middle on paper, and then I draw arms like a snowflake. So, okay, what is my first chapter going to, the section look like? In that, what are my chapters going to be? So the same way you do it for all the arms. So what you actually have the outline of your book in one page. So that is where the clarity comes. And once the clarity comes, then you need to pluck up I have the different C's, Raina. So kudos to you. But my C's are clarity, courage, conviction, and then consistency. So this is where the clarity comes in. If we follow the snowflake, I was baffled when I followed it. And I said, wow, everything's like on paper and it's just clear. And it's down on one page. And yeah, so that's the clarity I followed.
wow.
So for me, it was relatively easy because I had already created a framework, right? I was going to speak about that framework. And I asked each one of you to think about it. How many places do you go to speak on the topic that you are passionate about? And what frameworks have you created to help people? You give them tools, you give them processes. I just converted my keynote into the book. And it was easy. All I had to do was add all the stories, the case studies. So I asked each one of you to think about it because you are all speakers in your subject in one way or the other. What is that message that you want to see converted into a book? It is as easy as that.
And one thing I also feel for clarity, if I may add, is don't write the title first. You have the idea in your mind, you have the outline done on one page, and you start writing your chapters, let's say. You don't know what the layout is going to be like. You don't know what the structure is like. There are templates available. There are book mentors that we can go to who can help you right down to publishing as well. So when you write, then you might come up with something else that's going to be the title. If you put the title down first, it's like Chimmu says, you're restricting yourself into that box, because then you'll always think about the title. कि मेरा टाइटल ये है, मेरे को उस हिसाब से लिखना है. नहीं, आपको लिखना है और उस हिसाब से टाइटल सेट करना है बाद में.
One thing I would like to just share is that when we are writing the book, it really helps that at the end of the chapter, you just put a thought to ponder. Because that really connects, because that is what I have done. Like my book chapters are like 1 or 2 pages, and at the end of every chapter, just thought to ponder. So that really connects well, and the reader really starts thinking. It develops a beautiful connection. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for
all
that.
people who cannot write first. We talk exhaustively a lot. Okay, as a speaker, as a coach, as a mentor, we love talking. Words are the most exhaustible source of magic that we can create. But when we come to writing, we are blacked out. मुझे तो पता ही नहीं है मैं क्या लिखूं, कहाँ से लिखूं, कैसे लिखूं. मुझे पता है ये टॉपिक पे लिखना है. This is the topic I want to write. Like Veena said, write it in the end. And I should be following these authors. I started with picking up a voice recorder and talking as much as I wanted. And that transcribed everything that I wanted. Okay. And there are free transcribers which help you do that. Then you have your research. And when you're doing research, you do only research. When you're writing, you're just writing. When you're reading, then you're just reading. So I kept 4 days to read, Then I said, after 4 days, I'm not reading anymore. I'm going to voice record. I did 4 days of voice recording. Then I said, okay, fine. Now I go back into structuring. Again, I'm reading. And at the end came the name, the photograph. There are AI tools that even create you beautiful cover pages, beautiful book covers. They even write the testimonial for you. They write the foreword for you, and they can do it for you absolutely free. Okay, so those can be shared. But let me tell you, the biggest hitch is only to unveil your magic. And that magic only you can do. Start now, because it's your dream. It's not my dream, or Chimmu's dream, or Veena's dream, or Anita's dream, or Vaishali's dream. A book is a dream. The day you hold it in your hand, it is very overwhelming to say, oh my God, I have done it. Believe me. I literally cried when I held my first book, though I am a Guinness Book of World Records with 200 authors, and the book, like Anita said, write many books. I have written almost 12 books, and one book is with 200 authors, anthology unveiled at UK. Still, I'm telling you, I cried when I finished my book, and it's only 110 pages, like Chimmu said. Okay, the minute I showed it to my father-in-law, he was like, wow, we have an author in our family.
Wow.
Believe me, you will feel that bliss. Get up today, inspiring authors, and do it. I'm telling you, this is magic.
Yeah. And don't let the structure get to you. This is something that made me hesitate a lot first. I said, Likh to lungi, I'm okay, I'm writing, I know what I want to write, it's free flowing. But oh God, who's going to go to that, that level of ISBN? How do we do that? How we do get it on Amazon? What is the layout like? Who's going to do the cover? If you get caught up into that you end up procrastinating even more. So basically, both things go hand in hand. If you're writing, you will definitely find ways to self-publish, or you will find a publisher. It does cost a fee. Find a mentor that will help you. If you're the kind that I am, if I find someone to do all this for me, then I can write. I want to focus on that. That's what I can. Then do it. Like, do what it takes. And Raina's so right. Do what it takes. And once you have that book in your hand, you will not regret it ever.
I just want to make one point here. If this kind of motivates you, writing a book, becoming an author is leaving a legacy. Even after you leave the world, your book is going to be there. And this is something I'm so proud of. Yeah, thanks.
So you don't die empty.
Yes, Chimmu. What did
that was when I started writing, right? I expected that the sentence and everything will be perfect. It will just come out of me perfect. So by the time I write half a sentence, I've gone from creative mode into edit mode. And then I'm editing my sentence and nothing is coming out, no more creativity. So I was getting in my own way. Okay, everything should come out perfect. How is it possible, right? And it's not even the first draft, it's just the first few sentences. And so I had to sort of tell myself, stop. You get out all the stuff. Afterwards, we'll put the editorial hat and do. So that was coming in the way for quite some time before I realized that creativity and editorial mode don't go hand in hand. You are either or.
So what happened when you had the book printed and it was in your hand? What happened?
It was so nice. I felt so proud. Like, I can't even believe today also. Like, this book is mine. I did it. Oh. I feel so happy. Yeah.
Something I got an idea just now. I mean, I think what your girls shared was really quite deep. What Raina and all of you shared, stay focused, one thing at a time, whether it's reading, researching, writing, putting it together, and then dealing with the rest of it, the publishing and that piece at the later end. So whatever you're doing, stay focused. You're researching, stop other things. And so, and if you're like she said, 70%. So if you're working, stop working, put a percentage of the time you're going to put into writing, half a day in writing or half a day in work, whatever you want to do. So it looks like that whatever you do, structure it. And in some form or the other, rather in the process of writing it and getting into the process of writing it. Whether it's a 5 a.m. or it's a mentor or a support or your own structure, the whole systemic understanding is about structure. In whichever form that works with you, I think is where has emerged through this particular discussion. And thank you for that. I got a great idea just now. I'm going to take a picture of myself and create a cover of the book with some AI tools, which I'm going to get from Raina. I'm going to put some working title of my book. I'm going to hold it up, take a picture, and stick it on the wall. How's that? To inspire me.
Yes.
See, you all said, you all had
It's
that pride of
fantastic,
holding the
Anita. I'm
book.
hoping
I want
that
to
dream
hold
will
the
come
book.
true in 30 days.
I want to hold the book now, before I write it. And I'm looking at number one, Dawn, right now, who can write the book. So we're all forcing Dawn to write. So yeah, I think you can hold that thing in front of you and say, I've done it. And so what you can believe, you can achieve. That's the power of manifestation. I'm manifesting it now. So that's what I'm going to do. So thank you for that message. I took something away, which I'm going to do. Hallelujah. Now, coming back to the last question. I think we have, oh yeah, 10 minutes. So we'll just wrap it up. Publishing, the dreaded word. From what I remember, you all are all self-published. Am I right? When we talked, yeah. So is there anything you want to share? We don't want to go to long processes, because if anybody wants, they can always connect with you offline. And what I would also like to do is, after we finish the session, I think I'll connect with Deep and we will kind of make a little summary of this. And we'll also share the links to your book. Let the SheMantrans read your book. Let them see what our lovely new SheMantrans are also doing. So we will do that post our session. Deep, if you can take a picture of all of us, that would also be useful. And so let's talk about publishing.
Okay, I'll go first because I think I had a very easy journey in this one. I was referred to a publisher, Notion Press. There are so many companies in India who do publishing for individual authors, small authors. So the difference between Penguin and these are, when you go to Penguin, you should be an established author. And it should be worth their money for them to publish you, and then you get paid. Okay, so they will not take us who are individual authors doing one book with 100 pages. So there are smaller publishing houses called Notion Press and Blue Rose, so many others. Okay, I went with Notion Press. They have packages for you. So what all they will do? So they design my cover and they will do the grammar editing, and then they will put it together. They will get the ISBN. They will list it on Amazon. It is also listed in pounds, dollars, and in rupees. Okay, so all this they will do, and I like it because I don't have to worry at all. Anytime there is an order, they will fulfill it. So it's very nice and very convenient for an author. So I totally recommend this process.
Thank
Of
you.
course, you have to write the book. After that, they will take care.
I would just like to add to what Chimmu said. I also went through a self-publishing house, Blue Rose. And one thing I was very happy about was there were 2-3 rounds of editing that they did. And the thing that I realized is that when I wrote the book, I wrote as I was speaking. But when those people do the editing, they actually do it in such a way that it is pleasing to the reader. So that is the difference. That is what I realized. And that the editing part I found very wonderful. And going through a self-publishing house really works. It makes our life very easy. Yeah, that's it.
So did you also use Norton Press?
No, I went with Blue Rose Publishers.
Okay, thank you. All right, Veena?
Actually, I was very lazy in this particular regard, so I'm being very honest. And I had Bija House with me. So Bija House, again, they have packages. So they do the cover. Of course, you can give your creative input, and I wanted my creative input in most of the places, whatever I could. So the cover and the back page, the Amazon, the ISBN, and not only that, even making these reels and videos for social media to generate media coverage, bloggers interviews, book reviews. Testimonials, of course, they come by through the reviews. Then they're like, I relied a lot on book speaking assignments that, of course, I did on my own. But then things like book fairs, selling books at events. So basically, however much you can do to leverage. Now, talking about the publisher, like I said, Bija House did everything for me. So even like, keeping track of how many books were sold and whether my book is going to get onto the bestseller. So I'm very lucky. I'm very happy. Both the books got onto the bestseller list. And one of them got onto the hot release list as well. But all the hard work actually they did. So there's just packages, my rapport with them, and they were actually wonderful. Yeah.
So Himanshi has a question. Do you own the rights to the book, and how much do they keep for you?
Yes, I have
Yeah,
the
so
rights to
we
my
do,
book.
yeah, and we do own the rights to the book. When they set the price of the book, right? They
Yes.
will set the price in such a way that their publishing cost is covered and the author gets a small amount of percentage.
Yes,
And
that's it.
you can always get covers designed outside. There are my first book, the yellow book cover, they did it for me. My blue book, I got it done outside. The second book, I got it done outside. So you have a lot of choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to share my experience was a little different. When you design a book or when you make a book, you need to understand what you want to do with the book. A lot of people feel books are second incomes, passive incomes. They are source of your credibility, knowledge, expertise when you want to share it with your clients. You want to build credibility. Where do you want to sell it to? Who's your target audience in your market? There are a lot of houses that can help you, and some of them are already mentioned. I got it done from Evans, and he is somebody who's placed in the central part of India, a very good person who helps you in editing, writing, proofreading, formatting, everything. But let me be honest, I designed my own cover and I used AI tools. I had done a little bit of the formatting and the spell reading and the grammar check. And all I expected him was the formatting with the kind of fonts that I want. So I'm being very specific that the fonts, the spacing, the formatting is what I wanted. And the check on the forwards, launching. So there are different things that you need to focus on. And with every bit that you add, there will be charges. Now, if you have the time and you want to do it with a lot of passion, then yes. If you don't have the time and bandwidth and you want to get it through an audience which is international, then it's better to go through most of the publishers that are written. My audience is every individual.
So yeah, I got that. So Rena, who published your book? Sorry.
Evans Publishing is the
How
name
do you
of the
spell
book
it?
house.
Because Deep is
I'm
recording
going to put it there, and I can
in the
share
chat.
the details as well.
Okay, so we got it. We got it that all of y'all went through some kind of a self-publishing house,
yes.
a different one with different packages. So I think that really opens up the whole challenge of how am I going to get to be a published author. So I think that takes care of all of it. And I think we can share these resources with the rest of the community also at the same time. So last question. And it is like a quick Jeopardy round. It has to be very short, very fast, very quick. Okay. So is writing worth it?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. It's absolutely worth it. You have to do this. It's not for
Every
anyone
person has
else.
to write a
You
book.
have to do it for yourself. You have to do it for yourself. And in the process, you're reaching thousands of people. And you're doing what you want to do, what you want to share. And if you have that dream, if you have that message that you want to bring out to the world, don't wait. Kalam uthao and just start. Just start.
The only requirement is your desire to share. That's it.
Yes.
Wonderful. So it's worth it. Are you ready to yell again?
Yes.
So the trials, so like Anita so nicely said in the poster, the trials and the turbulences or the victories. So the trials and turbulences are there, but the victories that follow are mind-blowing and totally worth all the challenges that you face.
Wonderful.
Everyone has a book in them. Everyone. Your life journey, your mindset shifts, your pivots are your book.
Yeah, Gauri just wrote that. Can you come on the video? She said her mom wrote 25 books. Correct? Can you come on video, please?
I'm not camera ready because I've just come back from the gym some time
Oh,
ago.
that's okay. That's okay. Just because we have a lipstick on doesn't make us any more pretty. Come on,
Okay.
tell us about your mom.
So my mom writes in Marathi. She's been writing for the past 50 years. One of her books has been translated in no, a couple of her books have been translated into Marathi plays, which was telecast on Doordarshan in those days in the early 80s.
Wow.
And it is what keeps her going. Although she writes in Marathi, there are people who are bilinguals and have translated her books in Kannada, Gujarati, and other regional languages.
Wow.
Everybody must have read the book Jugad, which is like doing the rounds. My mother has done the Marathi translation for that.
Oh, wow. That is by Ahuja.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I know how fulfilling it is. Like all the authors just now said that it is very fulfilling. I can quite understand because that even like she is nearing 80 now.
Wow.
And she writes longhand. We told her there is a laptop at home. We'll teach you how to type. There is voice to text and all. So she says, till such time the pen doesn't touch the paper, it really doesn't get her creative juices flowing. And then everybody, she's received Parkers and Sheffers and stuff like that. But she still prefers the 5 rupee ball pen which you get, and she writes on a foolscap paper. So fulfillment is what she gets. She has a very loyal fan base after so many years. And her highlight is her birthday gets published in the newspaper every September.
How
Marathi
sweet.
newspaper. On the flip side of it, regional languages are losing readership.
Readership, yeah.
That's the saddest part of it. My mother has moved to, because the scenario has changed. She used to write fiction all along. Because the scenario has changed, she has found her creative juices now flowing through translations, like the one she did for Jugad, and she's done for many ones. And she's also writing non-fiction. So she's written one on Mr. Ratan Tata called Ratnankit. And I was so thrilled. I was just going through my feed, and there is this feed post which comes up that these are the books you ought to read in Marathi. And my mom's book was there.
Oh, wow.
And I was so thrilled that I shared it. And then my brother-in-law writes saying, yeah, it is the highest priced of it all in any case, Thank you, Rena. No. So I've not been an author. I've been a columnist with Lok Satta, which is the leading regional daily here.
Marathi paper, yeah.
Marathi paper. My mother would have been the happiest person had I written, but maybe my book is going to take time to come out if everybody has a book within them. When I wrote my first article, she was the one who was extremely thrilled about it. I wrote my first article for the in-flight magazine Namaskar for Air India.
So tell me, what you observed your mother writing for years now. What is her inspiration or her purpose to keep going for over 40 years, 50 years?
Okay, so my mother started with writing fiction, and she's the person that many people go to with their stories. Okay, my mother's grouse is that I don't read a whole lot of her stories, but then I know who it is written on. So then that takes away the suspense of it all, Or it's not that I have not read, I have read, but not like the way she would have wanted me to. So she tells their stories with a different character setting and so on and so forth. And she says, I want to tell a story to someone. And maybe if she does not like what is going on right now or what the result has been, she has the liberty to change the setting, ending.
Okay.
So, and because of that, there are a whole lot of people who come to her and say, please write a story on us. And that's what keeps her going. So now she doesn't write fiction anymore. She's more into translations and writing on inspirational people, like she's written on all the reformists who were in Maharashtra who fought for women's education, Anna Karve and all these people. So she's written books for school curriculum for class 8th and 9th kids and small booklets, not like tomes of history, at a level where a 13-year-old can understand that way. But my memory is of my mother. Of whenever I would come home from school, my mother would be at the writing table writing away till such time it was time to prepare our snack. So like that discipline, when you said, all of you said discipline, it just took me back. And whenever inspiration struck her, she would leave the rotis and the cooking and quickly grab a paper and start writing. Or she would tell my grandmother, now you finish off whatever I've started, and she would sit to write. So yes, there's discipline, there is inspiration, there is all of it.
Beautiful. Thank you for the share. This was
Thank you
truly
for allowing me to
inspiration.
share.
My God. Wow.
Thank you.
Does any Shilpa, Deep, anyone wants to share anything?
So something came to my mind when Gauri was saying she was telling other people's stories. In my book, right, I put real life case studies, but with different names. So one guy whose case study was mentioned told me, I took that, he bought the book, so he scratched out that name and wrote his name, and he looks at it every day. I'm in this book. So nice for me to hear.
So my mom wrote a story on my aunt's neighbor, and the help at home went and told the neighbor that mommy has written a new story. So that lady says, yeah, we know it's written on our life. But it had a better ending than where their life was going, so she did not mind.
But what intrigued me was, unlikely we new authors, when we say we get up in the morning or we sit down late and write, she wrote anytime and every time. So she didn't really need anything to inspire her because she all had it in her for a larger purpose. So I think as writers, we must be thinking about what is the larger purpose that we want to unveil, whether it is helping people on their skill, whether it's providing them with the right knowledge. We don't need a time to sit down to write.
True.
It's all the intent.
I would also say my father was ailing for the past 12 years, and she was, although there were attendants, she was his main caregiver. But throughout his illness, also she had been writing, adjusting her routine according to, his doctor's visits and so on and so forth. So
she's intent,
persevered
commitment.
for 50 years, which is a long time to be writing books, if you ask.
Fantastic. Absolutely
Wow.
fantastic.
That was beautiful. Thank you for jumping and sharing that, because that was truly inspiring, because I don't know anybody who's written for 50 years and so many books and translation.
To share.
Oh yeah, thank you. This is an open forum to inspire each other. So our panelists inspired us, and so did our folks who attended. So everybody inspired each other. Anybody would like to say anything, Shilpa, Deep, before we sign off?
I just spotlighted Shilpa. It's our
No, do not spotlight me. But I just want to say a very big thank you, Anita, firstly to you for taking the lead on this and discussing it within the core committee with Deep. I know you've had late night discussions on how to turn this around and bring it to all of us just so very quickly. I really found the discussion very valuable. So a big thank you to our panelists today as well. It's one thing to, write, but to be able to come in and with such generosity, share your deep secrets. Many people keep them very close to their heart, but I could see the excitement. As much as I saw the excitement in writing, I could see the same excitement and the willingness to share, so that we all get inspired and go out and do what you've done so beautifully. I have not had the fortune yet of reading all your books except for Vaishali's. Vaishali joined SheMantra, and true to her mission, I was counted amongst the 5 billion. She quickly saw that I needed to get healthier. So she quickly dispatched a copy of her book, and it reached me. And I just have to say, out of my personal experience, it's a book worth buying, reading, keeping close, reading every day. One, it's written so simply, complete clarity. I love that thought at the end, the thought to ponder, Vaishali. It's also a book that I would really honestly want to say has changed my eating habits and my relationship with food and even water, on an everyday basis. And I at least remember Vaishali 3 times a day, every time I have my main meals of the day. She's ensured that the legacy is already, being lived while she's right here.
Wow.
Right. So when I'm chewing my food or I'm actually eating water and drinking food, there are things which you remember just all the time. Very, very valuable, and I would now love to read all the other books that I yet haven't had the fortune to read. So thank you, everybody here. Very, very grateful for this sharing, and especially in the birthday month. I think it gives a larger purpose to what birthday should do to us. They should ignite some new, feelings and emotions. So today was about thought, feeling, action. So I think we should get into action mode pretty quickly. So thank you, Anita.
Oh, thank you, everybody. I know I kept pushing them in the last 3 days. Come on, we got to do this. We got to go
Great
work on this.
moderation. Yes, great moderation.
We had
And Shilpa,
conversations.
what a wonderful platform you've created.
And
True,
we had discussions, we had conversations, and they got writing. And I said, I'm not just preparing you for a panel discussion today, but anytime you're going to step out to speak, you know what you're going to do and how it has to impact the audience. And I think you girls did a bang-up job. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think with this, we will sign off, and we will see the Mumbai girls. Veena, thank you for registering for the party.
My pleasure.
Raina,
My
we are
pleasure.
waiting for you to register for the party. And anybody else who wants to fly in from Delhi, please join us.
Is there a Mumbai
When's
get
the
together?
party? When's the
Huh?
party? I'm
Party's
aware
in
of this.
Dia's house on the 14th, on the birthday day.
Okay.
Mhm.
Where is there a get together in
It's in
Mumbai?
it's in Lower Parel.
Oh, okay.
Anyone's coming, I can host 2 people in my home, so that's possible. Okay.
Anita, I'll take you for that offer now.
Aja.
No return.